The recording started. So welcome everyone. This is the Minnesota Outdoor Skills and Stewardship Series, and today's topic is the 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife Program. I'd like to introduce Nicole Corney. She's the state person in charge of all 4-H shooting sports. So Nicole, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Craig and Benji. My name is Nicole Picorni, and I'm an extension educator for the University of Minnesota Extension Center for Youth Development. My roles include supervision of 4-H staff in Southeast Minnesota, but the other piece of me is with the 4-H Outdoor Adventures program, which the Shooting Sports and Wildlife program is a part of. And so we are really excited to be here today. And I would love to introduce to you all the star of the show, Katrien. Katrien is originally from Carlton County. She is coming to us today from Ecuador, which is really cool on her travels. But Katrien is a senior in high school, and she is one of our 4-H, Minnesota 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife ambassadors. She also is a national 4-H Shooting Sports ambassadors. So Katrien, would you introduce yourself just a little bit more?
Hi, so as Nicole said, I'm Katrien Hauser. I'm a senior and I am in Ecuador right now pursuing fluency in Spanish. So I'll be here for a month or so. I love the outdoors and the program that I've been able to be part of as an ambassador, as well as a participant in the different disciplines. I have been a life-changing experience, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later as we talk about the youth opportunities. But yeah, so I've been ambassador for about 4 years and 2 years as a national ambassador, and it's a really awesome experience.
So thank you for sharing this space with us, everyone. We really want to bring to you the Shooting Sports and Wildlife program, introduce you to what we do, some of our programs and events, and then how you can enroll or join, partake in some of our events if you're interested. All right, Katrien, take it away.
Our program is we're going to talk about the Shooting Sports and Wildlife program today, which is the biggest one under this umbrella of 4-H Outdoor Adventures, but the Outdoor Adventures program includes ATV safety, wildlife biology, hiking, fishing, and outdoor skills. And if you go on our website, you can see these will be the icons you'll see, and then they will have a link to explain a little bit more about each of those. And but today we're just going to pick Shooting Sports and Wildlife and kind of go in depth on that. Okay, so our program is part of the National 4-H organization. It's found in 47 states, and over 500,000 youth are involved. We also have over 15,000 adult leaders that are certified in training. We have a couple objectives in our program, and those include instilling ethics, sportsmanship, and responsibility in youth. We want to develop leadership skills throughout our program and promote the safe storage and handling of firearms and archery equipment. And we also want to expand our 4-H membership through this program. The 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife program is run through the county 4-H program. So as Nicole mentioned, I'm part of the Carlton County. So we have our own little club and group. It's open to youth in 3rd grade all the way up to 1 year past high school. We use screened 4-H volunteers as well as nationally trained and certified shooting sports and wildlife instructors as trainers in the disciplines and then wildlife programs. We also have the National 4-H Shooting Sports Committee that has set minimum standards for these state programs. And we offer the following disciplines that Nicole will talk about.
Yes, so within our program, as Katrien mentioned, 3rd through 1 year past high school. And so we have different grades that are available to work with the different firearms and shooting equipment. So archery, we have recurve and compound archery events. This picture is taken from our state shoot, and archery is available for youth 3rd grade and older. We also have muzzleloading, which is unique to Minnesota 4-H in our youth programs. We have rifle and we have pistol, and muzzleloading and all the powder burning events are available for sixth grade youth at the local level and older. We also have rifle and pistol. This discipline really is encompassing of BB gun for third graders and older, standard air rifle, 3-position air rifle, and air pistol. And then we have 22 rifle, and we're working on our 22 pistol event and discipline. And we also have shotgun. So trap obviously is the event that we hold, but shotgun is the discipline that we have for those 7th grade at the state shoot and 6th graders at the local level, as Katrin was saying, the different clubs and groups in the counties. And lastly, we also have a huge component discipline that we call wildlife. It encompasses a lot of things. At the state shoot, we have our wildlife skillathon, we have wildlife calling, we have a conservation project that we ask all local clubs to work on at the local level. And we also have the National Wildlife Habitat Education Program, which is a little bit newer to Minnesota 4-H. But these are really for those youth that not all youth come to shooting sports and wildlife to actually shoot and use firearms and shooting equipment. They really embrace the wildlife piece. And the WEP program is available for 4-Hers and also FFA groups and organizations throughout the nation. And it tests youth knowledge in wildlife identification. And youth also use their skills to formulate wildlife habitat management plans. We have our first state contest April 30th this year, and we're looking to really grow that program.
So our Shooting Sports and Wildlife has programs as well as events. So as we talked about, we have the county level clubs and groups, and that is where you'll practice your disciplines and your wildlife preparation for things like the state shoot. So, and we also have the Shooting Sports and Wildlife leader trainings, which we talked about before, the state shoot, Shooting Sports and Wildlife ambassadors like myself, and then we have the National 4-H Shooting Sports Championships, as well as many volunteer opportunities. So the leader certification trainings are very important because, as we said, we have these. In order to be a leader for the shooting sports, you have to go to these certification trainings so that we can establish these objectives, which is to learn basic knowledge in discipline, instruction, and stewardship issues, gain skills to effectively and safely lead youth in shooting sports and wildlife educational activities. We want to positively promote plan and policies of the Minnesota 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife Program. And we have them receive certification in one discipline per training.
Yeah, and Katrin, I'm going to interject here too. So those of you who are viewing this or going to watch the recording, not only does Minnesota 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife have all of these amazing opportunities for youth to learn safe and handling and storage of shooting equipment and wildlife, but we also have opportunities for adults and volunteers. And so when we're sharing our information to join or to get more information, that is also for you as adults if you're interested. And we are always looking for adults who want to share their passion in the shooting sports, wildlife, and the youth leadership pieces. Katrin's going to talk a little bit more about that. But if you're passionate about that, let us know, and we can hook you up with a local program or the state program.
So we talked a little bit about the state shoot, and Nicole talked about the conservation projects and all that. So the Shooting Sports and Wildlife Invitational, or the state shoot, is held the weekend after Labor Day at the Alexandria RV and Shooting Park. The local programs and instructors provide required hours for disciplines and wildlife learning during the year so that you are able to come to the state shoot. In 2019, we had 711 registered youth. Obviously, with COVID, we had to rearrange our normal schedule, but we will be back to our regular program in 2022 this year. All disciplines and wildlife skillathon, wildlife calling, and team conservation projects are presented at the state shoot, so you can compete in those disciplines that we talked about earlier, like muzzleloading and archery. And then you also test your skills with the skillathon, wildlife calling, and then present your conservation project that you've been working on that year.
Yes, and we really, as I mentioned, really emphasize the wildlife. How can we not, living in Minnesota? And so one of the requirements, we have youth coming to our state shoot or invitational, as Katrin mentioned, is that conservation project. And so throughout the entire year, we ask local programs to dive into a conservation project, to ask if there's, if there's partners such as the DNR, National Wild Turkey Federation, different chapters in their area, or if they come up with their own conservation project, and to conduct that and to complete that. So we're also giving back. That's part of our community service piece of Minnesota 4-H.
So then we have a couple of those youth leadership opportunities, and this is my favorite part about the 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife program. So the first opportunity is the state Shooting Sports and Wildlife Ambassador Program, and I'll talk a little bit more about my own experience with that. But we also have the assistant certified instructor. So not only as an adult can you become certified to instruct in various disciplines, as a youth, you can come to those leadership trainings we talked about, and you can train and get certified to be an assistant instructor. There's the National 4-H Shooting Sports Ambassador Program, and then we also have the National Shooting Sports Championships. So as someone who has been an ambassador for about 4 years now, I started at the state level, which is a weekend training, kind of like our leadership certification trainings. And you spend the weekend kind of learning just the basics of being a leader, doing public speaking, networking, that kind of thing. And you kind of learn how to grow your own confidence when it comes to talking to people that you're not very familiar with, whether it's small groups, one-on-one, or large public speaking groups. And then after you become a state ambassador, you can then be chosen as one of the 2 people that come from each state to the national ambassador training. And the year that I went, we went to Texas, and I think there was 15 or 16 states represented while I was there. And that one is a week-long program where you take the skills that you learn from your state training and you kind of expand it. So you spend time in class learning different ways to learn about yourself, grow yourself and your insecurities, kind of face those fears when it comes to whether it's public speaking or whatever it is that you need to grow in. And then you learn things like proper eating etiquette and elevator speeches and those types of things. As an ambassador myself, I have grown so much. I have learned to overcome the fears of just one-on-one conversations with adults that are in higher positions than you. And like I mentioned, it does grow your confidence, and so that you can better support your community. And then also it helps you in future endeavors like what I'm going to be doing in college and those types of things.
And as Katrin mentioned, we also have our National 4-H Shooting Sports Championships. And so after our state shoot in September, youth can show interest that they would like to participate in the national championships. Those are always held in June, and they will be at Grand Island, Nebraska. And we have a selection criteria process that we do for those youth that are headed out to that. And again, we have volunteers who coach these youth throughout the spring to prep them and get them ready for a higher level competition. So that is a quick overview of our Minnesota 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife program. If you would like to learn more, we have our 2 websites, the 4-H Outdoor Adventures. Katrin mentioned that you'll see several icons of our overall program, and you'll see the 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife icon, and you can click on that for more information, how to get involved, what are all of the components, and you can also just Google these and those will pop up. They are, as Katrin also mentioned, we are part of the local 4-H program. And so if you would love to learn more about that, here is another link. You can also Google your local extension office, and that staff will be able to help you either enroll or learn more or help you make that decision to be part of our Minnesota 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife program. Thank you so much for your time today, and we will stop sharing. Again, and if you have questions for me on the state level, that is my cell phone number and my email right there on the slide. I would love to answer any questions that you have and be able to provide you that information. We will jump to any questions, Craig or Benji, that you had seen.
So in the Q&A, that's the place to put your questions. So Sarah wants to know how old you have to be an ambassador.
Yes, so we have ambassadors that are 9th grade and older. Because of the public relation pieces that we have our ambassadors do throughout the year, we have chosen that it would be a high school and older.
Okay. Lucas put his question in the chat, and he wants to know, how did the 2019 numbers compare to previous events?
2019 was just a little bit lower. 2018 was our largest ever state shoot, and that was in 864 was how many youth that we came. And again, those 864 or 711 youth, they can participate up to 4 shooting events. So we have well over 1,500 individual events that are taking place, plus those wildlife pieces.
Okay. And did the kids come back in 2020 or?
Yes, well, what we had to do in 2020, as many of our youth organization and in-person organizations, we pivoted pretty hard and we provided local matches. And so staff and our shooting sports and wildlife volunteers throughout the state developed and did a local match. And we then sent scores up into a state database and we were able to award that way. So it was kind of like our own postal match is what we did.
Very nice.
2021, we were semi-normal back to Alexandria with a state shoot. And our numbers were definitely lower, but we have taken a lot of time over the year to really gain momentum and re-engage not only volunteers but youth in our organization.
Okay. Lucas asked a question in the chat about, did you talk about the Minnesota College connection to 4-H shooting sports?
We do not. Minnesota 4-H, as Katrian mentioned, is actually kindergarten through 1 year past high school with our shooting disciplines. We, in shooting sports and wildlife, are 3rd grade and older. And once youth head to that 2nd year in college, 4-H is no longer a part of that in Minnesota. We do know that there are several states or some states that do have some 4-H connection in colleges. We do not, except for that 1st year as a freshman.
Okay. Looks like Benji's working on a request to share the presentation, and it'll probably be up on our YouTube site on Monday. We got to do a little bit of closed captioning work, and then we can get it up there too. I don't see anything else coming in right now, so we'll give them a couple minutes. And
sure.
I did put
oh, go ahead.
I did put your link for your website in the chat also,
Wonderful.
Nicole, along with your email address too, so people can copy that and paste in their browser. So
absolutely. And we really take pride that Minnesota 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife is really a feeder program. Been working really with that R3 movement, and where we stand in that is the feeder program. Again, we train our volunteers. We have that certification training for our adults to work with youth on some of the most basic fundamentals of handling, storage, shooting equipment, life skills. We work through mastery, we work through goals, we work through, as Katrian talked about, all of her youth leadership experiences, being able to be here and public speaking. And so we really take pride in being that feeder program to many other things. And Lucas, as you're talking about the colleges, many of our colleges are coming to us asking about the different shooting teams that colleges now have, and that those 4-H members really have some of those basic fundamental skills. And so we do grow some Olympic wannabes, some competitive shooters. We have several that are right now on the circuit for Olympics or world champions. And they started in 4-H, and really that basic skills and knowledge and ethical shooting, ethical conservation, they learn from our program.
Molly just asked a question. I heard you mention something about starting it in kindergarten, but I didn't catch what it was.
Yes. So overall, Minnesota 4-H programs start kindergarten. K through 2, what we call our Clover Buds, and they have a ton of activities and programs that they can do. They are not right now in our shooting sports and wildlife program just because of developmental and even stature and size. And so for shooting sports and shooting equipment, we start in 3rd grade, but K through 2nd definitely can participate in wildlife activities and the Clover Bud 4-H program.
Okay. So you talked a little bit about equipment, and with my past knowledge of 4-H shooting sports, um, do the shooting sports chapters own a lot of equipment so kids don't have to come with stuff right away?
Yes, a lot of our programs have their own equipment through different grants or donations, fundraising. They are able to provide that for those new that are coming. We also have some youth that have gone through the entire program without owning a piece of shooting equipment because of their local programs providing that. We are really working in Minnesota 4-H Shooting Sports and Wildlife for equity for gear. So not only shooting equipment, we have state level shooting equipment that we can borrow to local programs for just that same reason. But also, as next week, as we go into outdoor adventures, we're going to talk about camping and outdoor cooking and all of those pieces. But we know our families are not always coming to us with that equipment, nor do we want them to. We want them to be there and to learn from our adults and have as much access as they possibly can.
I think that's a key to getting a good shooting sports program up is, providing some of that equipment so that kids get a chance to try it. And then I can remember some of the kids that were in the upper echelon of shooting, and they had some pretty nice equipment that
Yes,
moms and dads had. This is your program. This is how far you've progressed. So we want you to have some higher end equipment. Um, do they do they have the full shooting gear program in 4-H at the very tail end then, where if you're that level of competitor, you wear the jacket and everything? Or I'm trying to remember back to Ashley Lane's day, because she had the full shooting jacket and
yeah.
pants and shoes and everything.
That would be more of an individual family bringing that type of equipment to that. We have some amazing, just last year we had a youth that shot 99 out of 100 for the senior trap,
Mm-hmm.
and he's out there in a pair of jeans and his own shotgun. That I know,
Mm-hmm.
but that's about it. And maybe a one little thing for him to have, and that was it. And he had 99 to 100.
Wow. And I can remember the kids coming in, jeans and a sweatshirt, and they'd get a
Yep.
sling that they could put on. Um, it was pretty basic. You didn't have to have
So,
the high end of equipment. And the kids
absolutely.
still shot really well. All my nieces and nephews went through the program up here, and it was just fun to see that they were involved with shooting sports as much as they could be.
Absolutely.
I don't see any new questions. Lucas said, "Excellent job. Keep up the great work." So we
Thank
always
you.
appreciate
I
the
got a question for Katrina. She's sitting there not talking a whole lot, so I'm kind of interested in the skills side. 4-H does a fantastic job at all the skills part and the knowledge part. And being a current mountain biking coach for my girls' middle school and high school team, and a former environmental learning center director working with kids in that high school, late middle school and high school range, the ambassador program, I think is phenomenal. That you're out there, you're very well spoken, and learning how to do that and what goes into that, I think is something that is, I didn't know that about 4-H when I get a little bit involved in 4-H from the little bit I know. But could you speak to that a little bit about you know, the ambassador program and who signs up for that? How much, what's the time commitment and stuff like that? I think that's a very valuable skill, especially for kids going off to school and college.
Yeah, so I have 5 sisters in my family. So there's 6 of us girls, and 3 of them went through the ambassador program. And so I just kind of grew up watching them go through it, and I thought that was super cool. And they did things like we go to the National Turkey Federation convention, and the Shooting Sports and Wildlife ambassadors run the Jake's Party, which is the kind of little get together for the kids while the parents are at the banquet. And so I just remember going there, and Nicole let me wear a shirt and like run a booth as, you know, a 4th grader. So I thought that was so cool. And through that, it was kind of like it's just a family program. So if you have older siblings who've been through it, or if you're an older sibling, you kind of get to pass on the legacy, you know. So yeah, I didn't officially join until 9th grade when I went to the state training, but it is definitely something that I wanted to do for a long time. And then after getting into it, I had I'm not super great with one-on-one conversations you know, we've talked to the governor or senators or those kind of people, and that really scared me. And so what 4-H did for me was, first of all, totally push you off the edge of your comfort zone. You don't want to do it. And Nicole's like, go ahead, which is good. And you need that. Like, you need other adults in your life to push you towards those things. So I think for me, it definitely provided those opportunities to go to like the governor's deer hunters opener, and just you have to talk to them because they want to talk to you. And so it provided me with that time to practice and make a ton of mistakes. My first couple of conversations, continue to make mistakes, and then just have the support of Nicole and your other ambassadors. That is just kind of, you know, laugh it off. You're like, okay, well, we all make mistakes. You know, you'll learn from it. So I feel like it was something that forced me out of my comfort zone and kind of taught me how to be well-spoken or be confident in those types of conversations, because you have to, you know, you don't really have a choice to really think through a ton of it. And that's why we provide the trainings. Like, we spent that whole weekend learning how to do those elevator speeches and talk about what 4-H is. But there's only so much you can do in practice, right? So it definitely was something that it provides you with the practice that you needed and the resources, and then gave you the opportunity to just really step outside of your comfort zone. And I think that served me very well in my high school years, and then also now going into things like going to Ecuador or talking to people later in life. I think this confidence and that is very helpful to me, and has served me in a lot of ways.
From
Thank
my
you for sharing that.
4-H does such a wonderful job at creating positive individuals, and the things that you learn through shooting sports follow you to other parts of your life. The responsibility, you know, who's responsible for that score? It's me, because I'm the one that released the arrow or made the shot. And 4-H does just such a wonderful job with making strong young people that can carry on a great conversation. So really like that. We got a question from Sarah. I'm attending the wildlife training on June 30th. Way to go, Sarah. Is there anything you can expand on that I should be thinking about as far as upcoming events I'm going to want to focus on?
As an adult, yes. So really, we are, Katrian, thank you so much for talking about the adults, because Minnesota 4-H, good youth organizations also focus on that youth adult partnership. So at our leader training, adult leader certification trainings, we are not having you come there so you can be personally your own, you know, the best shooter. You are coming to learn about youth development, positive youth development, as Craig was mentioning too, like the positive youth development knowledge and skills, how to teach youth, whether it be wildlife, shotgun, rifle, but how to teach that. We also are teaching you how to embrace life skills and talk to youth about their basic needs, their values, their goals, their, how to master their goals. And so that is the umbrella of what our leader certification trainings really are about, and being a volunteer in overall Minnesota 4-H. And so we do have people who are amazing shooters and have been maybe a trap shooter since they were in 5th grade, and they want to come and be an adult. And it's a lot different than when all of a sudden we're having them teach, and that's the goal. We want them to teach. And it could be a 7th grader who is having a really bad day. So how do you manage that behavior, but also like, hey, what's going on? Like the positive youth development piece of that. And you may not even get to shooting that night. It might be a conversation because something happened in the community, and that's what the youth need. And then maybe you get on the line because they do need a distraction. So let's make some goals and shoot a few clays and see where we're at, and then let's reflect on what's going on. So so that is really the encompassing piece of being a 4-H volunteer, and it's really a partner and shared leadership with the youth. Catrian didn't, we must teach humility also, because that shared leadership, this last children's party event education program, she basically pushed me out of the way and said, I got this. And she led 10 other youth in the program development and planning of the event. And then when we got there, I actually had free time. Not completely, but she's like, I got this. And so then she managed the 10 youth that were there along with the 25 children. And she had that and those skills she developed. And that just makes me really proud of our program and what we can do. So
Awesome. I think we've started a fire here. Nina says, how do you get the required certification hours and find a certified instructor? So
yes,
we
so
might have a
that's
volunteer coming up.
yeah. So always looking for those volunteers to come to our certification trainings like Sarah's coming to. Contact your local, you can email me. I think Benji put my email in there. I can connect you with the local program in your county. And they may already have an up and running shooting sports and wildlife program. And that is the program where those adults will then hold regular practices, and that's how you get the required hours to go to the invitational. Some local programs start every October 1st. That's our 4-H year. And they do wildlife or indoor shooting throughout our nasty winter months. And then they go outside for those powder burning events. Some programs start here in April and they work throughout all the summer to get those required hours. And so that local program is what will host you and make sure that you're getting those required hours and the skills, range commands, how to score a target, how to, if you have a malfunction of your firearm, how to work through those kind of things. And so besides on the line shooting, there's a whole list of things that we also teach for prepping youth to go to a competition such as our state shoot.
Sounds awesome. And I went through air rifle, BB gun, 22, and pistol, I think, when I got my certification. And I got to work with lots and lots of kids and pass on my passion for shooting sports. Because I think that's just the start of a lifetime of shooting or hunting activity. We had a comment from Lucas in the chat. He can't figure out how to view the PowerPoint. Well, it'll be on the recording, Lucas. You'll be able to go back and go through the PowerPoint on the recording, but we don't have a way to go back during the presentation to see that. Any other questions? We got a little bit of time left here if you guys can think of anything. If you've had experience with 4-H shooting sports, tell us a little bit about what you thought. And we'll try and share that with Nicole, being the leader of the 4-H shooting sports program. She'd probably like to hear that.
Yeah,
I forgot
Craig,
to
you remind
mention-
me of, oh, go ahead, Katrin.
I
Katrin, you
forgot
go.
to mention the time commitment, because I something really awesome about 4-H is that unlike most programs, leadership programs like this, the time commitment isn't something that you have to commit to 3 events or 6 events a year. You kind of you'll figure it out, like when you start, like what is your thing. So my events that I really went to was like the Governor's Deer Opener or the Jake's Party. That was something I for some reason connected to. So you kind of figure out which event you like the best. You kind of go to a variety of them in the first couple of years of being an ambassador, and then as you get older, you just pick 1, 2, or 3, however many you can be at. It's awesome if you can come to all of them, but we have lots of events over the years, and that's why we have lots of ambassadors. So it's not really a huge time commitment where you have to be sacrificing a ton. If you want to be there, we want you there. And so, yeah, you just kind of feel out what you like best. And then you'll figure out, like, I really enjoy going to this event. And then when it comes around, you'll be like, oh, I'm excited to go to that. So it's not a set time commitment where we have a required hours that you need to go to or anything like that. The only thing that you would have to commit to is like coming to the training so that it's skills and stuff like that. But it is in your best interest to find a couple events that you like, because that is how you develop the skills. Like I said before, you can only practice so much. So going to events that are maybe scary and you maybe won't like is probably a good way to like push yourself out of your comfort zone, which Nicole will be very encouraging of. So you don't have to worry about that too much.
Yeah, and Katrin, our ambassador program, 9th grade and up, is an entry point into Minnesota 4-H shooting sports and wildlife. You do not have to have been part of a local program for years and years and years. This is a leadership opportunity. We definitely are advocates and ambassadors of the shooting sports industry legacy. So we definitely want you to have a passion for that in the outdoors. But if you have youth out there that are interested in continued or first-time leadership, we will set the stage for you, and this can be your entry point into shooting sports. So,
yeah, and to add on that, I'm not really a person I didn't really do trap or anything like that. I only did archery, and then for the last couple of years, I haven't been able to do archery. But my kind of 4-H participation is the ambassador program. So there's lots of ambassadors in the program who've been doing trap for years or whatever it is that they do for the disciplines. But there's also a great need for people who have the time, like I had the time to plan that party because I wasn't doing a different discipline or something like that. So even if you're not even interested in shooting or anything like that, you can really help to the wildlife side and just event planning and speaking and those kinds of things.
awesome.
Guys, thank you so much. It's been very informative. Hopefully the experience today was as kind and gentle as we could make it. Keep doing the great work you're doing, because it makes a difference. And
Thank you.
we'll ask Benji to take us back to the green room. You might need to grab the